Hey everybody, what's up? I'm continuing the Deep Stack series by sitting $100 match and just starting the match here, even though I've lost like 50 chips or something. That was because I was getting the recording software set up. So I've set this guy Schwags and we're going to see how it goes. I'm going to start off by 3-betting here with Ace Jack. And alright, he folds. So when somebody raises and then folds, my first thought is that they might be tight aggressive, because that is a tight aggressive trait you would expect loose aggressive players to call. Alright, lets me limp, and this flop I think is a pretty bad flop to steal on because you're going to get called by pretty much any heart. But I'm going to have a crack, and because I'm still in the feeling out phase, and he lets that one go. So yeah, once again looking a little tight, which I like. And I've been calling raises really wide, but I think Queen 2 is a little bit wide, even for me. That might be a bit inconsistent with some of my other plays earlier on, but never mind. Alright, and obviously when I get check 2, I'm going to have a little bet here. And alright, so he seems pretty tight when he's out of position, which is good. And haven't picked up much more than that. 6-3 will play. I prefer 6-3 to Queen 2. I have a abiding dislike of 2s. And pretty weird bet sizing here. Wouldn't be surprised if he had a good strong hand, but we shall find out when he fires the second barrel or doesn't. And now that he hasn't, I've got a bet here. Maybe about 160, just to push him off if I can. Nope. Looks like he had a spade draw perhaps that hit. That's the sort of line that would make sense here, and I'll let that go. So maybe a decent ace of spades and another spade looks pretty likely. About time that I raise and see how he reacts. And he folds, okay. So he looks like the sort of guy that's a little bit aggressive pre-flop, but backing down fairly quickly. And folds my eights. Nice timing, sir. So just going to continue to be fairly passive at this stage and try and pick up a good feel for him and see what else pops up. You know, I'm not going to do too much at this stage. I've got so long to try and exploit this guy. He looks super tight out of position, which I like. And suited connectors, would have played those. Looks like he's tightening up pre-flop. Not sure what that's about. And I might try a little raise, see how we go. If he 3-bets this, I would definitely let it go. He seems pretty tight, as far as I can tell so far throughout the match. Alright, we'll call wide here. While we're deep, can't hit a flop. And I'm not going to get fancy here. I could check raise him on a reasonably dry flop, but no need to do anything silly yet. Those fancy moves where you check raise someone, they work when you're exploiting the image. And it's weird, he's got this little odd raise size, which I suspect may be a good hand. That's what comes to mind, that he's making standard raises on junkier hands and these odd raise sizes on good hands. Let's sort of have a little 3-bet and test that theory. Yep, okay, so he's folded there. That would be what I would suspect, that he actually wants to get called when he's making those weird raise sizes. That's my theory at this stage. And he's paused a little bit longer here, and now he's bet, so we'll let him have that. He's been very tight out of position, so not going to do anything silly there. Alright, calling this because it's cheap. Time for me to hit a nice big flop, and we've picked up a good draw here, which is good. And I think I might try the check raise route and see how that goes. Normally I play my draws pretty passively, but against a tight aggressive guy I can represent here. I'm not going to represent so much now, am I? I'm not going to think I've got a king in this spot. Oops, I'm in trouble. Can I hit a 4 or a 9? Nope. And that really sucked. I wish I'd have played a more passive route. Ooh, he's getting a little fancy there. So he completely didn't believe me. Oh, interesting. And his raise size was actually junk when he made that weird raise size. Nice timing, sir. So next time that I catch a hand, obviously I'll have to check raise it, or when I actually catch a hand. I haven't caught one yet. Oh, this is good. I can bet here, and I think I'll get some value from a 3 or a 2 maybe. If he raises me, I'm not folding. Alright, good. So that's interesting. He made a little play there early on, which shocked me. So next time when I do catch a hand, I'll just check raise it straight away. I don't think he's obviously not a great believer of my check raise. And this is a crappy spot. And just got crappier. I can now officially beat nothing. But we'll call one more barrel, just in case he's on a draw. And now I'm feeling like a little bit of a calling station. Not folding. If you've got a 2, well done. Oh, I flopped pretty much the nuts. Oh, I'm such a station. I should have folded that. Never mind. Alright, time for me to hit a hand, please. And then we shall reverse this. Alright, raise up some junk and see how that goes. So pre-flop aggression works against this guy. But he's a little bit spewy. I think that check, calling my check raise there. I thought that was a bit spewy. Alright, nice little flush draw here. And now we've got an open ender and a flush draw. Not convinced he's got this, but I'm going to be a bit of a station. And that's probably a pretty good card, I would hope. And oh, he hit the nuts on the river. Nice, let's have a rematch. So I didn't really hit that flush apparently. And that pops up over here, so I'll close that one down, close that, and now I've got to beat this guy. Alright, well at least I have a pretty spewy image. Alright, calling everything, see how much trouble I can get into with 2-4. And I guess I've been a bit stationary here, but not much I can do there when I flop, or when I river the flush. I mean, if you're going to play for it, you got to go for it. And now we're going to make this big bluffy looking river bet and see if we can't get a raise out of him. That's what we're looking for, as long as he doesn't have 5-6. I think I'm going to flat it. He could have 2 pair as well. Oh, that's a bit of a cooler. I hit 2 pair. He hits. That's effectively the nuts. So I hit a flush and he's hit the nuts. It's not working out too well for me this game. I might tighten up a little bit pre-flop. Alright, now I'm not going to tighten up. I'm going to 3-bet his weird bet sizing. And he calls. And let's see what happens here. Not too happy with the way this one's going. I think I might be getting called down by ace-x too. Good-o, so we managed to push that out. He's a little bit laggy, but I think he's run pretty good. In certain spots, like me hitting a flush and him hitting a full house, and me hitting 2 pair and him hitting a straight. That's a pretty decent run good, I reckon. But he's not really a believer. Here at a gut shot. Interesting that he checks. A bit shocked about that. I wonder what that's about. Alright, we'll let that go. So thank you for a free shot at the gut shot. Pity I couldn't hit it. Wonder if he's checking a good hand. Alright, I think I'm going to raise him a lot more pre-flop. Simply because he seems to not like that very much and fold to them quite a bit. So he looks pretty tight in this calling range. And in his 3-betting range, go at 84. Alright, we'll peel 1, try and hit 2 pair. Alright, 1 pair. This could be trouble. And I'm worried here about, oh, that's got to be nice. Queen would worry me. And if he's got queen, he's cooled me again. And about 600, I think. Thank you, sir. Hey, we're back in it. Fold the old 7-2. So this guy looked a little tight aggressive because he was he folded to my 3-bet and he was folding my pre-flop raises, but he's actually pretty laggy when he decides he's going to play a hand and difficult to push around. And then he folds on my A7. And I think I'll just keep on hassling him from the button here. He doesn't like it much, so I'll continue to do it. And he looks like he's tightening up quite a bit. And I'll just keep on raising until he deals with it. And he's not at this stage, which is nice. King 7's a bit loose, but I'll call it for 29 chips. And flop bottom pair again. And how much trouble can I get into with bottom pair? Interesting turn. Is he going to hit the nuts on the river? No, he's going to fire a second barrel and I'll fold my bottom pair. Alright. So basically I'm going to continue to hassle him from the button here. And I may even catch a hand at some stage, who knows. Alright, King 4 doesn't look like much. Just hassle him, see how he likes it. And he hasn't called much, and this is not a great flop for me to see bet. So the reason it's not great is it's so wet and we're getting called by so many hands. So I'll give this one up. I don't mind if he takes it. And later on I can maybe do the same thing if I ever flop strong. Alright, 10-2 will let go. So it'd be nice to have a hand against this guy, maybe river him once. And I might fold 2-5 as well. And let's see if things can get turned around. Alright, ace queen. Going to flat him, try and get him barreling off if he can hit an ace, and he hasn't. And normally I would fold this spot, but it's a good dry flop. I think I'll call one barrel and see what comes on the turn. And what comes on the turn is junk, unfortunately. And I'll check this and let him bluff, and just in case he's picked up a flush or a 2, which he hasn't, and he had queen 8, okay. So I probably wasn't getting any value by betting. And I've been riveted enough that I think I'm just happier to check that one down and play a small pot. Alright, we're going to flat him again, try and hit a good hand here. And that looks like a good hand. I'm going to take a risk here. Even though we're deep, I'm going to donk this. And if he wants to raise me, let him raise me. And he doesn't. Alright, well I thought the donk might get some aggression out of him, and it didn't work. It was a different line. Perhaps the 100 was a little bit big. The thing about flat calling when you're, well, like checking behind and calling when your pair is low, is that you are taking the risk that you call and then he hits his overcard on the turn, and then of course you can't really fold. So I'd rather try and either play a big pot or a very, very small pot in that spot. And I think by donking we ended up playing a very, very small pot, which maybe wasn't the best option, but it did sort of work out okay, I guess. Obviously got less chips than I might have, but riskless as well. 120 for his 3-bet. Alright, we'll call this. I'm being very loose here, in fact, and completely whiffing the flop. And he checks, okay. So I think he's going to have something like ace 10 or ace queen. And I'm going to have a crack here. If he check raises me, then he's hit. And he's trapping me. Oh God, am I being trapped? We'll find out. Is he calling me down here on ace king or ace queen or ace 10? Alright, and we're trying to bet 300 chips. And he folds, alright, good. Yay, we're in the lead. By being a little bit laggier than him. So yeah, it's all going, rather okay, and if I hit a hand, that would be a nice thing. But basically, by experimenting, I found that this guy doesn't like my pre-flop raises, and that raising him works pretty well so far. And that also, I've sort of been riveted a few times, that's about all. Alright, 5-6, not a bad flop. I don't want to get check raised, and I think this guy is the sort of guy that's going to check raise me. So I'll check behind and let him fire the turn. I'm taking the risk that an overcard's coming. Bang, down comes the ultimate overcard. And don't raise me, please. Good-o, just calling is perfect. and now we can check behind, and hopefully our 5 should be good. Alright, he had the ace. So if I had a bet, he might have folded that flop, but he only had 3 outs as it turns out, and you know, betting would have been better, no doubt, but as it turns out I didn't, and that was the result. Let him hit his overcard for free. Bit of a sin, but you know, we're deep enough that I can get away with that sort of thing. And he still doesn't like my pre-flop raises. And I think I'll call his raise on ace 5. Oh, he's not going to raise. I like flatting those sort of ace hands while we're deep. And I might limp now just for something different, and if he wants to raise, I'll limp call. And miss rather terribly and have a stab. Alright, that's all yours, sir. Quite happy if you want to check raise me on dry boards, as long as I hit one sooner or later. And I think I'll go back to raising because he doesn't like it very much. There you go. So basically, just waiting for a hand, then here comes one. And he folds. Nice timing, sir. That sucked. Alright, we'll try the old check call routine with the one gap suited connector, which I quite like. And I might even have a stab and don't get raised, please. Alright, good. So limping and stabbing works, raising pre-flop works. And his raising range is pretty weird. I'm trying to work out what it is, but he does seem to be raising all sorts of weird hands. He raised 7-5 suited at one stage. Alright, all yours, buddy. And now he's sort of folding a whole bunch of hands, which I assume are not much worse than 7-5 suited. Alright, we'll wait for a hand, be a little bit more patient, and eventually, hopefully, catch. Alright, little raise. And playing a lot more aggressively just because it's been profitable against this particular guy. Though he's starting to 3-bet me a little bit more. But yeah, hopefully we'll put a stop to that when we finally catch something. Alright, let's have a call on the one gapper. We're still very, very deep. And we've missed. And we're going to give it up if he fires a bet, which he doesn't. 4 on the river would be nice, please, sir. Oh, 4 on the river. Hopefully he's going to call thinking he's splitting. And hopefully he's not going to, oh, pretty tight of him. Hopefully he's not going to turn up with a flush as the other hope there. But yeah, that worked. And I might check behind here if he checks. I've been stealing a lot, and I think that it won't hurt to try and catch on the turn. Nope. Alright, we've got a gut shot. And all his... Also, I felt that the amount of time it took him to check that he might have had something there. Maybe he was messing me around, who knows. Alright, calling still deep because we're like 100 big blinds almost. Finally hitting top pair. And I'm just going to check call this. No guarantee my top pair is the nuts. And I'm going to check call again, I think. And I really hate that ace and hope he hasn't sucked out on me. Alright, all yours. Ace queen. Okay, I was behind the whole time. That sucked. It sucks when you hit top pair and get out kicked, but that's the way it goes. Maybe I should have folded to the third barrel. And he's getting aggressive, isn't he? Oosh. Alright, this is going to be flattered, I think, then. Would like to get more aggressive, but I'll flat him. Think he's missed. We shall see. Nice. So I think he's 3-betting pretty wide there. He's getting a little bit aggressive with his 3 bets. All yours, buddy. That Queen 7 hand kind of sucked, but never mind. Let's see what he does to a min raise, and he doesn't like it. So I can just min raise. I don't need to be 3xing against this guy, and I can get, I think, the same amount of folds. And I never understand why people don't call the min raises deeper, especially deep stacked. I mean, you're getting like such incredible odds. Alright, time to 3-bet him. I haven't done it much. if he shoves, I've got an easy fold. And yeah, that was a nice 100 chips, or 99. Thank you very much. Continue the min raise. Don't 3-bet me back, please, buddy. Good-o. Alright, so now through a little bit more experimentation, we've worked out that we can min raise against this guy, and he doesn't like that very much. And that's a pretty good flop. I probably should check raise him here. No need to. I'm going to bet the turn, but not too much. Oh, can't believe that I hit such a monster and he never gave me any value. Good timing, sir. Really good timing. I mean, he's been c-betting so many flops, and then I hit what I assume is the nuts, and he doesn't pay me off. Alright, top pair again, and I think I'm going to have to be careful if he fires a second barrel here. You know, I mean, he doesn't seem to be firing second barrels light. Oh shit, am I in trouble again? And if he did have Jack 10, that's just landed. Oh, good. Alright, so he's just firing a second barrel on air. Pretty aggressive little guy, this one. I think I'm going to fold my 3-8, seeing I just took a pot off him. Yeah, pretty aggressive. I'm going to give him that red marker. Yay, we get a hand, and he folds. I can't believe it. Good timing, sir. Very good timing. And he's flattered me. And last time he flattered me it was ace-x, so I think I'll just c-bet here and see how he deals with it. Good, gives it up. So I probably should have c-bet last time when I hit the flop instead of letting him hit his 3-outer. If in doubt, c-bet, one of my favourite sayings. Alright, keep the min raising up because he really hates it. Yep, that's a very profitable thing. And now we've got the lead. Let's just try and be a little bit patient and hopefully hit a hand. I mean, he folded on my queens, which was a bit nice of him. Ace-9's tricky. I don't want to get 3-bet with ace-9. I'm just going to limp and call, unless he makes a monster raise. And he doesn't. And I'll just have a little stab here. The flat call worries me. I suspect that's likely to be a jack more than an 8. I really don't like it, and we'll check behind. Maybe he's got 8x and he's happy to see it go, yeah. So he's happy to see that one through. So alright, so his check raise is more likely to be the jack, and the flat call was the 8. Interesting, and interesting. Alright, raise this junk. Fold to his 3-bet. He's 3-bet me quite a lot, but I haven't had anything. I'm not going to 4-bet him light, he seems a little loose, so I'm not going to bother with that trick. But it's about time I 3-bet him. Now I know he's going to fire multiple barrels here on junk, so I might try the check raise trick again and see how that goes. Didn't believe me last time. Doesn't believe me this time. Can't hit the card I want to hit. A 3, please. Oh, we're in trouble. We're dead. Alright, that didn't work. So he's never folded to my check raises. I think I'll have to alright, he calls me on just ace high. Alright, definitely check raise this guy for value. Only for value. And that was a pretty bad call he made on the flop. Maybe I should have check raised him larger. But he simply doesn't believe check raises on the flop. Okay. Duly noted, sir. Maybe I should donk this flop. It's pretty dry. Get a lot of folds there. Alright, so now finally we've found some sort of weakness, and that is that he's not going to fold if I check raise him on the flop. So hit a flop, check raise him, get big value. That works. And fold up my 10-4. Right, hit a pair. And I think I'm going to lead out here and get the fold. So it's weird, he's like tight there, but he calls my check raise on ace-jack on a queen XX flop, which is a really weird spot for him to call a check raise. And doesn't 3-bet me. Good timing, sir. so we have a plan, which is hit a good hand, check raise this guy. He's not going to believe me. I've done it twice on air and he hasn't believed me either time. Might be due to 3-bet him again. Nope, he folds. Alright, and what are we, like 150 big blinds deep? These things are amazing. We're so deep in this. And it looks like he's tightening up a little bit. Time to check raising. Well, not to check raising, to 3-bet him, I think. Yeah, and he folds. So pretty tight pre-flop. And I'm going to call his 3-bet if he raises me here, which he doesn't. And I will c-bet here, because he doesn't seem to believe me on these paired boards. Alright, this is looking good. No diamond, please. Yeah, so far so good. I'm going to call this second. Oh, we're going to have to fire the second barrel ourselves, are we? Alright, so we just made a little check raise on the dry board and gave up. So obviously he's aware of that move, and it didn't work. So it hit the nuts, and it didn't work against when I do it to him either. Pretty aggressive, and you know, yeah, I think he ran good in that first match, to be honest. But maybe I'm fooling myself, and I was just way too loose. We'll keep the pressure on him with these min raises, and give that up. And this is good enough to call, right at the bottom of my calling range. And the problem with this is I really hate if a 10 or a jack comes on the turn, but we're going to call one and see what the turn is. Ugh, as bad as it gets. And I might have to give this up now when he fires a second barrel, which he hasn't. Awesome. And betting the river here, hope he doesn't raise me. Thank you, sir. Phew. A little bit lucky there. Maybe I played that a little bit passively, but I really hate that spot. I don't think he could call me with worse, but I didn't want him to bluff the river, which is why I made that sort of blocking bet on the river. Obviously, I know if he raises me, I'm beaten. I can let it go. And there's not many players that are good enough to raise your blocking bet as a bluff. Right, grinding him down, so making it a better match of this one than we did the first one. And he's still attacking my min raises, but not so much that it's not profitable to be raising anymore. And he'll get that timing wrong sooner or later. So yeah, I've sort of, he's 3-bet me a bit, and that's hurt. But on the other hand, I've had so many folds from the min raises, I'm sure it's been profitable for me to be min raising. Here I think I'll min raise and call if he wants to 3-bet me again, which he does. And rather nice flop. And now we're going to raise him because that's what we, you know, he never believes me in this spot, and we're going to get it in. On Jack 10, that worked out alright, and no outs for him. Alright, so the plan finally came to fruition. All of that sort of check raising of him finally paid off, and we got in the shove sort of the stack. So what I've got to say about this match is if you make a mess of the first one, you know, like you play someone, when you replay them, still be experimenting and looking to see where you can sort of find their weaknesses. And finally we found a weakness against this guy, in that he never believed me when I check raise. I check raised him twice on air, and when you've got that pattern, you finally wait until you hit, you know, what's effectively the nuts, check raise him, and as you can see, it worked out pretty well. So 2 matches there at the $100 level, one in which I looked like a bit of a goose, but I think I was kind of cooled. Maybe you disagree with that. And this second one where finally we found his weaknesses and took advantage of them. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and until the next one, I hope you run good.